No?
Hang on, wait, where's my... Oh, my phone's over there.
What's your favourite guitar of Dad's?
What's your favourite one?
I have one.
Hey guys, welcome back to Rob's Rigs here at the Palais Theatre in St Kilda for, what's this, episode 5, probably 6 by now? Well, you know, you guys will know that. But we're here with the one and only Ben Rodgers of the Jimmy Barnes Band. So Ben, good to see you, mate.
Hi, mate, good to see you.
So good, so good. So yeah, we've known each other a little while now, actually.
Yes.
And getting into your rig is, something I've always wanted to do, but it's changed a lot since I last saw it. So I'm super keen. But I guess before we get into everything, let's go back. Where's guitar kind of start for you? Like, how old were you?
I was probably 10 and I wanted a reason to not go to school anymore.
Yeah.
I loved Jimi Hendrix, Santana. I loved like Gary Moore,
Yeah.
those kind of things, like Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
And I was looking for a way to not be at school effectively.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
And then miraculously ended up at university through it. But but yeah, no, I was probably like 9, 10 listening to those kind of bands.
Yep.
And then by 12, 13, I was doing gigs. And
Nice.
then
Wow.
I'm old now, so.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about, yeah. So he's like 23 now.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
like,
That's
you know.
right.
so,
Gentleman never tells.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But okay, so you did all that, and then you've done so many things over the years. I suppose playing with Jimmy's been a big thing. So I guess right now, playing with Jimmy, what's Jimmy doing right now?
We are doing the new album tour of Defiant.
Defiant?
Defiant, yeah, over there. Yeah, so the album came out this week, or was just #1 yesterday. So
Number one.
#1.
Jimmy still bringing
Yeah.
it, right?
Oh man, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, we're in the midst of this tour, playing the whole new album, playing a bunch of hits. It's awesome fun. It's great.
Yeah. And it's a good album. I caught up on it over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's like just slaps all the way through.
Totally, and it's
like-
great. It's great because we're obviously playing all the classics that we've played for years, but the new songs just fit so good, and there's lots of guitar to play, which is fun. You know, I get a few stellar solo moments, which is nice.
Which I was I was listening. I was like, oh, that's. I reckon that's Ben, and I was like, some of them I was like, oh, I wonder if that's Danny, and
Yeah,
you know,
we're hiding in there. You know?
Yeah, but it is a rock album. It feels like a big, you know, just everyone like.
Oh, totally. When Jimmy was making the record, he kind of said to all of us, I just want to make a record that we can play live. And so I wrote Defiant, the title track, and sent it to him, because obviously I've been playing in the band for 15 years at least now.
Wow.
And so I was like, man, this song, this would be great live. Let's do it. So I just sent it to him. Turns out to be the title track of the record. And it's fun, you know, it's that thing of like, you know, Michael Painter wrote a bunch of the songs on the record, and because we've all been in the band, we know what that feeling is with an audience, so we were trying to just capture that, you know, in the songs, and then the sounds as well, like guitar sounds, like, you know, what do we do live? Well, let's try and put that into an album, and it's like, you know, I think it's pretty good.
I thought it was excellent. I mean, it's got, like all the things that I love about you guys as well, like those big backing vocals just washing over you, and like guitars that just hit, you know, kind of got that like, that pace that kind of feels a bit E Street Band kind of, or
and Stones, and like that's what I mean.
Like,
it's sort of like timeless.
Yeah.
You know, like we're not reinventing the wheel. Like the songs, the lyrical contents of the songs are really personal.
Yeah.
And musically, our job is just sort of like give the vibe, you know, which is what this band is about effectively. Like Jim's so all about every gig has to be 100% vibe, 110% vibe, you know, like, and it's awesome because as a guitarist, it's the best thing for me playing with Jimmy is getting my ass kicked every night. Is such a cool feeling as a musician. And a guitarist, because he's right there, and if you're not giving it, he's listening every night. So it's even after playing together for so long, there's still this like level of expectation amongst the whole band. So there's this intensity that always happens.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And
Yeah. It is definitely, it does feel like you guys are all, yeah, like pulling in the same direction, like a great football team or something like that.
Yeah, we're like a team.
Everybody's, yeah.
And that's the thing, like when you've played as long as we have, like every now and then, like I'll have a bad night, right? And so Danny will like just come over and like give me a shoulder charge and be like, come on, and vice versa. And it's like everyone sort of is listening to each other. And it's that thing, it's like a team where, yeah, like someone will go like put in a bit of extra effort because you're having a rough day or whatever. And, you know, and it's the best feeling to play. And doing like rock music is so cathartic in that way because you're just like leaving it all out on the stage. Good day, bad day. Yeah. It's all sweaty and on the stage.
It's all,
great.
yes.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, well, let's get stuck into how you create your personal vibe here. So, what do we got right here? This Strat looks beaten to blazes.
This is probably my favorite guitar, which, so a dear friend of mine, Franco Raggett, is sort of like my guitar buyer.
Yep. Shout out to Franco.
He called me one day and he goes, "This guy's selling a left-handed Strat. It's a custom. It's a Bitzer." And I was like, I don't really need another guitar. He's like, "No, trust me, man. You really got to get this guitar." And so I was like, fine, all right. So I called, and it's like, I'm pretty sure Charles Cillier put this guitar together.
Oh, yeah.
But it's all parts, Sir pickups. And basically I went and tried it, and I think it was like $1,200 or $1,500.
Oh wow, yeah.
But it's the best guitar I've ever had. Like, there's just, it's got a mojo about it. I love the color. Yep. It plays great. It's been around the world a couple of times. The thing that I find really hilarious is because it's aged, but I've played it so much. I've played it new.
Oh wow!
So
this is the new bit, and that's the original.
Yeah, so I've played it so much it's become new.
Wow, that's so funny.
That's the funny thing about it, a relic guitar.
And you can actually, now you say it, if you can see that, like where you've kind of done your volume pot with your little finger.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
you've worn it
in here,
into,
in here. You know,
that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's an incredible guitar. I love it. You know, it's just got a real sound to it. Like it's a Strat, but I think it's the V60 pickups in there, and they're just awesome. They sound great, and it works so good. Like Danny, you know, he's got this beautiful old L series Strat. Yeah. You know, so when he's doing that, I'll jump on my thin line, or if he's playing the Les Paul, this is kind of like my number one. Yeah. I've got a couple of other guitars. Like basically all the guitars I've got are relatively inexpensive. But they all just like have a vibe to them. And
and then you and I imagine Zeke give them a bit of a vibe as well if you need to. And
totally. I'm pretty terrible at looking after my gear.
Yeah,
like,
you and I have that in common.
Yeah, I'm naughty. Like I'll do gigs and at the end I'll just throw the guitar and just throw it on the ground, kick it, or you know what I mean? Like I grew up like watching Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, like live at El Macumbo and stuff, where he's got the guitar like this on the ground so that's sort of my idea of entertainment for the audience is that. Yes. So I'm trying to be more well behaved nowadays as I get older, but I don't look after my gear. I'm very.
Although if you keep playing things like Strats and Tellys, you know, they are a little bit indestructible. Like you can definitely destroy them. But depending what you're doing. Yeah. Like that's not a, don't go out there and just like beat your guitars up. But they have they do kind of rebound. Like most techs will always say, we can work this out. Like
totally. And that's the thing, the guitars I've kept over the years are the ones that can deal with the rigors of touring, me treating them badly, changes in weather because you know
Australia,
yes, absolutely. But yeah, this is probably my number one, like of all my guitars.
Yeah.
So
nice. Well, it's good. So we're going from here obviously to your pack and then down to the pedals.
Yeah.
Which looks like it's tightened up a little bit, is it? Or
well, basically all I've changed. Well, actually, I've changed quite a lot, but I'm running this Nano Cortex for this tour, and it's kind of weird because I'm a real amp guy.
Yep.
but the last few tours, and because we've done a few overseas tours, the ease of not having to do higher backline, the ease of like when you're doing sound checks in where you don't have time festivals.
Yep.
I got this, Zeke and I were talking about it, and I got this, and I've got a Sir SL68. Like I've got a real, and it's awesome, but it's so loud.
Yeah.
And it's heavy, and it's got, you know what I mean? It's got all the idiosyncrasies of a real amp, but I basically spent a week pulling sounds on this and landed on a SL67 sort of sound patch, and then a Benson Chimera patch.
Oh, wow.
And they're the two, and man, they just sound so good.
Yeah.
So that's my amp for this tour. Is that?
Are you running those amps? Like, are you switching between those two?
Yeah. So basically, I'm using the Benson for most of the gig, and then the SL67 I'm using on a few songs, and also it's just got that sort of clean headroom Marshall sound, which I love, which is kind of like a Fender Bassman, I guess, in a way.
Although I do love, like, it's one of those things, like, underrated, talking to people, Marshalls do clean.
Oh man, the Sir, that's what I mean, the Sir. I'm one of those guys where I think I like the amp to just be on the edge, on the edge of breakup, and then I let the pedals do all the sort of push after that.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Marshall sounds so good, and the Benson is amazing.
Well, could you give us some dry, maybe? Like just the, like maybe the Benson first.
Yep.
And
So-
then,
So it's like got this. So it's you know what I mean? It just sounds really good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh damn, it's annoying.
all right, it's frustratingly
You know
good.
what I mean? I have all these awesome amps at home, and I'm like, oh, this works really good.
It does, it sounds so natural. So then, like, let's switch over to the other guy and just
Yeah,
compare.
so this is that's your Benson, and then it's got a little bit more of that glassy top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a bit more of that, because on the songs I use that on, I've basically got an expression pedal set with an octave, so it sort of has a 12-string sort of emulation on that one for one of the new songs from the record.
Absolutely, love to. Actually, before we go on to other stuff, could you show us that?
Yeah,
12-string sound?
so basically the SL67, it's like, and then if I. And that's the convenience of these. So that patch is that. This patch is just a bit of. It's like an 808 with no gain and boost, and a bit of a stereo delay. So if I'm doing a solo, that's sort of like my annoy the sound guy, make it loud and narky. Sort of
and cut through.
Yeah.
So and I suppose you and Danny would be trying to occupy different, like you're switching, you're taking this part of the sound, he's taking that.
Totally, and the thing is, because Danny's on Axe Effects and I'm on this, and what we'll do is we'll play and talk to Colin Ellis, the front of house, and sort of go, oh, he's on the Les Paul, he's got that real classic throaty thing. I'm in a sort of out of phase, like frequency-wise, what makes the guitar the biggest, and we do a lot of that naturally from having played so much together now with Jim. But we still, before every tour, we'll sort of talk through it a little bit and talk through guitar changes. So it's like, oh, if you're on the telly here, I'll quickly just jump onto the like Gretsch or something, just so we get that tonal difference.
Yeah.
Because it really is amazing. Like we were talking about it yesterday in soundcheck. He was playing Les Paul and I had the Strat, and I was like, I feel a little too brittle. And then when we went out, he was like, I was feeling a little too mid-range. But then when you hear it out the front, it's just this like amazing sort of wall sort of. And that's the thing. So I think in terms of pulling sounds now, if I was a solo guitarist, I would probably have a different sound. But my role is sort of, I'm more the Strat and Telly guy. So I've kind of got more of that sort of like glassy top, bit narkier.
Yeah.
Danny's like, you know, heavier. I run around like an idiot. He stands still, looks cool. You know what I mean? We've got our jobs.
Yes. It's like, you occupy different spaces, even performance-wise. Like,
absolutely.
Like,
and that's the thing. Like my job, I try and keep my pedal board as simple as possible so I can run around more. That's pretty much the...
so you're not tap dancing
Like,
because we're on one side of the stage and you're like, oh crap.
Oh man, because I've totally tap danced my way into oblivion many a time, so...
But I say, imagine maybe Zeke even knows like when you're going to miss one, he just runs out. Just tap,
it's happened. Yeah. Like I look around like, what have I done? I don't know.
All right, so drive pedals here. Now, you've got the Veneram, you've got the Chase Bliss brothers, the new guy. It's been a while since I've seen a 29 actually.
That was Zeke's idea, that one. So.
I've forgotten the name of the company for the life of me.
29 is the name of the company.
It is the name of the company?
29.
It's called the Una.
The Una, that's right.
Yes.
So yes, sorry,
Yeah, that was Zeke's idea.
I know
because,
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the Vemurum's been on my board for, man, I think 10 years now. I got that when they first came out, and that is a desert island pedal for sure.
So that never leaves the board, really?
That's lasted through so many iterations of the board. Like I had a Jackson Broken Arrow, I had a Cot 50, OCD, but that has stayed through everything. Like it's just, it works with every amp. It just sounds so good.
So you're running that as just drive? Is that just?
Yeah, it just does that, a bit of that, like sort of, it adds a bit of fur, but it never sort of chokes the sound. It just feels so open because it's like the Fender Magic 6 sort of thing. It just has this sort of like bigger, and it's like, and it's so good.
All right, give us a taste of that, and then maybe we can contrast it with the 29 and the brothers.
Yeah. Well, the 29 is basically just a preamp.
Oh, so that's always on.
That's always on, and so I've just got it like doing a little bit of extra bottom end boost. And so effectively that's my kill switch on this thing. So then.
Oh wow, yeah. So
that's what that is, and then the Vemurum's kind of like wild. So that's the clean, and then it's like
Vemurum, not Venmuram.
I don't know. Now I'm going to be so Vemurum. So beautiful.
Such a good, so usable, like all the way up and down.
That's what I mean. Like with the guitar volume, you can just get so much out of it. You know. Like it does so much.
Yeah. All right. So the brothers, how are you using that then?
So the brothers, I had in one of my old boards, I had the Chase Bliss preamp.
Yep.
And that was awesome. That
with the little moving thing.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so cool. But in that we tour a lot, I always had this fear that one day we'd do a gig, it would rain and it would just be game over. You know. But it's so good. And so that pedal was effectively, I had it modeled to do a King of Tone, a Clon, and then a sort of fuzz on my Pirate MIDI. And I found that 90% of the time I was using the King of Tone sort of emulation of that. So when I saw this Brothers AM, I basically, it's a funny story, I was like umming and ahhing about buying it. And I know Matt at Pedal Empire. And
oh yeah, shout out to Matt at Pedal Empire.
He's a legend, yes. Yeah. And anyway, I was like umming and ahhing about it, and I'd watched all these videos, and I was having a shower. And I'm in the shower, and I'm like, you know, washing myself, and I see my phone, and I was like, I really got to do this. And I just ordered it from the shower, right? Like, I don't know why, I just had this compulsion. I was like, in the shower, like, you know, Apple Pay, and anyway, 2 or 3 days later, I was grabbing a coffee because I was here in Melbourne, and I called him, and I said, hey man, like, I don't mean to hassle, but did I miss out? Because there's like a limited run, and Chase Bliss just like, and he goes, oh man, I was going to call you. It was so hilarious. You were the last person to order in the whole country. You got the last one.
Wow.
And then the next order didn't come till August or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I was just calling because I needed it. I was going to use it on the Jimmy tour. And he goes like, you got the very last one. And I was like, oh my God, it was the thing. Like,
Yeah, there was that moment in the shower, you knew it was
if you're ever in the shower and you feel you want to order a guitar, do it.
Yeah, if you're in the shower, check the stock on hand.
That's right. But yeah, so and I got it just in time for this tour, and it's like Danny's got a real king of tone, but man, it's just such a good sound. Like I'm still experimenting. I've sort of got it set, as they say, with the like Mike Pereira sort of preset here with the high gain setting, and then just sort of like the standard one there. So
all right, give us the shower tone.
Yeah, so that's that one, and then it's just beautiful, you know.
That honk, like
And then you've got the and then if you just want to get wild, you can. Like they just stack, so it's like awesome.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, oh
that
man.
It's just so as you say, it's useful, and that I can imagine that mid-range kind of honk thing going on as well is just sits you in a mix.
Totally, and that's the thing. Like it's, you know, I've got a bit more of this going on, and Danny, like if he's got the Les Paul, then that just sits perfectly, and then when you hear it together, it's just like, oh, you know. And obviously the Strat's got a bit more of that attack, whereas the thin line telly I've got's got the Billy Gibbons stacked single coil in the bridge.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if I use that one, that's kind of still got a bit of point to it, but it's got a bit more of like that aggro of a stacked single coil.
Yeah.
But man, it sounds so good.
So good. Oh, all right. So we've done dry, and great dries. Now you've got little Octavia.
That's just for me. That's just like my personal fun.
You don't actually use it? Or?
I do. I try so much to use fuzz in this band, but this band is so loud that it just disappears. It's just like the idea is great, but the execution.
Yeah. Oh, I think we've all as well. Like any young guitarist buys a fuzz pedal. And I've talked to so many of them, they're just like, I bought a Big Muff and I tried to use it with my band and I turned it on and I just couldn't hear anything. And it's like, that's like, it's a thing we all go through to like.
Totally. And I love the idea of this one because it's got the Octavia and the fuzz, and you can turn the fuzz off.
Yeah, what is this?
So it's a Pigtronics.
Oh, it's Pigtronics, yeah.
Yeah, and this, so it's kind of just cool because you can get, you know, that sort of like, just a little touch of the, like, you know. And then if I want, I can get just.
Oh,
you know, it's
good.
It's a bit Swiss Army knife in that way.
Yeah.
So that's why I sort of got that and sort of put it on the board, because it's like, oh, if I need it, sometimes having the Octavia with the overdrives, just if I need something to sound really nasty, like it sort of has this great sort of you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can it's like, oh, that's offensive, you know? You know, so it's perfect for like that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
so good.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm sad that you're not using it as much from the sounds of it.
I sneak it in on the title track of the album because I'm like, there's like, we do that. So on all those riffs, I kind of use it because I'm like, oh, Danny's on the Les Paul. I have this kind of like weird Octavia. So I sneak it in there when I can.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. All right, now we got to talk. This TC, I actually haven't had a crack at one of these yet, and I saw it on the board, and I've been wanting to ask about like what you're using, how you're using it, what you're using it. Now you're running stereo. That's one of the things we haven't actually talked about yet, is the stereo aspect of this.
Yep.
So we'll quickly run through this guy.
Yeah.
The Plethrax 3. Plethrax?
Plethora.
Plethora Oh, plethora. Sorry,
X3.
X3. I'm reading. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, plethora.
Axe. You know, it's a guitar pedal. You
Yeah,
would say axe. You know?
Yeah, there we go. But you've got core.
Plethora. No, that's fine.
The Plethorix 3. So you've got 3 pedals effectively in here. You got using so the chorus, Corona chorus.
Yeah. So this pedal, I don't use it heaps because the Nano's got some reverb on the patches. And then, as we spoke about before, I've got my solo sound. So I've sort of got like a vintage echo that's on the tap here, just in case I want like to use it as a slap or just a different flavor. The reverb is there like a real classic spring, because on a few of the songs it's like I go for a more soul vibe. And the chorus is sort of there currently when we're doing some of the classic tunes like Working Class Man or...
Oh, yeah.
It's of the time, so
Yeah.
it's real subtle, but it's that thing when it's on, because it's stereo out front and in my ears, you just have that classic 80s session thing where it's like, yeah, wide, you know, like,
Yeah.
and it's sort of like perfect for what the song demands.
Yeah.
And I do have it so if I needed to, I can, you know, bank up, because I've got like some separate boards, like a trem board there. So then
cool.
mod 1 is trem, and then I can go, I've got a Univibe board. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Hendrix,
and so,
yep.
totally. And so,
That's cool.
yeah, and so basically depending on the set, I can switch between those boards either from here or just on here.
Yeah.
Like if we're doing more of a soul gig, I'd use the tremolo instead of a chorus.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, and
Yeah.
then so it's really handy. It's a good pedal, and there were a few things that are annoying in the MIDI sort of domain, but they've done updates. So now
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of MIDI. Like I'm using it
You've
obviously, and I'm
this is
using it a
rigged
lot.
up beautifully.
Yeah, well, that's Zeke. Zeke did all the put together of the board, and it's amazing. And the updates of this really make it more usable
Yeah.
now. Like the sounds are great because the TC, the classic delays, and
Yeah.
you know the choruses and stuff. Like they're really great sounding pedals. And so I needed that modulation, so that stayed. And I had a HX Stomp that used to live there, but then I obviously swapped that out with the Nano, and
Yeah. No, nice.
yeah, and that's it.
Great. Oh, and of course, everybody should buy themselves a tuner.
Yes.
Most important pedal on any board is a tuner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, that is excellent. Thank you. Now
Pleasure.
we've got one more.
Oh, yes.
We've got these. This is a new thing. This is Tone Masters behind.
Yeah.
So, I guess, like Fender Tone Masters, it's not a lot to talk about as an amp, but how do you find them on stage? Is more like, do they feel?
Well, the issue I had getting into the sort of like amp modeling was having played for, 20, 30 years with amps behind me. And it's the same when I'm playing bass or guitar, is when you don't feel it, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And so when Fender came out with these, because what we were doing in the past was we'd have to run the modeling to front of house, then we'd split to a real amp and have real cabs, and that was cool, but it's like a bit of a, more things can go wrong.
Yep.
And so Heath at Fender, when these first came out, we grabbed 2, and I really like them just because I can then feel the guitar behind me. And this is the new 212 one,
Yes.
which I'm a huge fan of because I'm an open back cab guy. Like,
Same.
I love an open back
Yeah.
cab. I just love the way it moves air. It's
So
more-
these 2 are closed, are they?
yeah, and so whereas this new one's ported at the back,
Yep.
so there's sort of like, if I'm playing here, I can sort of feel it coming up and around, and so that for me has really made a big difference having the,
Yeah.
I did look at, like, I'm like, hey Heath, could I cut holes in the back of this? Is this the thing? Like,
Yeah.
he's like, you can do what you want. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Actually, there's a video on Rabid Dogs of me cutting a hole in the back of my orange cab.
See, do
and
it.
putting a captor inside so I could run it. Anyway, but go watch that video. But yes, like, no, it's, and especially like, we'll mix in a little bit of the sound of the mics as well.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
this, so you'll sort of feel they sound
Oh,
huge.
they're crazy loud, and these are all 12-inch, so I'm a real 12-inch speaker guy.
Yeah.
So there's 412s on here. I think these are like 1,000 they're meant to be 1,000 watts, so you could dime them and just hurt people, but
Yeah.
it's just more so I feel it. And they're super light, so the crew are probably happy too.
Yes. Nice. Well, we might check in with your main man Zeke next.
He knows.
But like, thank you so much for
Pleasure, mate.
running us
Pleasure.
through all
Thank
of
you
this.
so much.
And yeah, have a great gig.
I will.
Easy.
I'm gonna have fun. Shred some guitar.
All right. Well, now we're here with Ben's tech, Zeke. So we're just going to run through all the different guitars Ben's using tonight. So Zeke, good to see you again, mate.
Always nice.
Always a
nice.
pleasure.
Yeah.
So Zeke, you obviously tech for Ben, and you do a bunch of other teching. You're around the industry. Who you working for? What are you doing lately?
Ben, I've been out with Icehouse at the start of this year as well, doing kind of a hybrid keyboard guitar tech role. There's 4 guitarists on stage, and I look after them. 3 and a bassist.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
We won't get too crazy. There's 3 and a bassist.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guitars on stage and main stage-based keyboard rigs, so there's computers and that kind of thing. So I look after that. I've also just done the back half of the Tina Arena tour, the stadium shows, not stadiums, theatres, the smaller ones.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say arena, the Tina Arena.
The Tina,
arena
that's why it was on my mind.
Yeah.
The Tina Arena tour.
Yeah.
So I just spent a couple of weeks with her before pretty much getting home the next day, jumping on a plane to start getting ready for this. So
Unreal.
Big start of the year.
Yeah, great
Very
fun.
big.
Nice. And yeah, you've been teching for Ben for a while.
Coming up 2 years soon.
Yep.
I sort of came properly into the fold in November 2023.
Yep.
So yeah, spent a little bit of time there now.
Nice. Nice.
Very nice.
All right. Well, let's get stuck into his guitars and what he's using. So,
Sure.
I guess we've seen the pink Strat.
The pink Strat.
Pink Strat's
the one.
Real. So that's
Yep.
number 1.
Yep.
So I guess straight off the rip, what is the string gauge on that? What's Ben using on that? All the techie stuff.
All the techie stuff. So we basically have 2 gauges. We have Power Slinky or Burley Slinky, which is
Yep.
11 to 48 or 1052.
Yep.
11 to 52. I always forget.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember the name and then it's easier. So actually, I'll just tell you right now. Yeah, 11 to 48, and we'll just get some. Yeah, 11 to 52.
1152.
So on the pink, we've got 11 to 52. We also put that on his thin line telly as well.
Yep.
And then on his Gretsch and his other Strat, we've got 10 to 48.
Okay.
So Ernie Balls, always. Shout out Ernie Ball. You always look after us. We love you for that. So that's, yeah. So that's what we're doing for strings.
Yes. Okay.
Ben's not a change every day kind of guy. The sort of sweet spot for him seems to be after a show or 2 of just like a little bit worn in, not too sizzly, not too like out of the packet feeling.
Yeah.
I kind of subconsciously relate this back to him being a bassist and like that warmth. Like he's always sort of seeking a slightly warmer, a slightly more worn in kind of feel. So
Yeah.
we're not doing strings every day. It's kind of check the guitar, see how it's feeling. Does it feel nice? Does it sound good? It's more that kind of thing. So
And you must love that, not strings every day. So
it's great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a bassist too, it's changing strings can be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
so that's
Alright.
that's what we've got rolling there.
Nice. And he's using 88s. Is this?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So Tortex 88s greens.
Jim Dunlop.
Yep. So all the nerdy stuff that not everyone gets into now. So other than the pink Strat, what would be the next thing that he'd use after that?
The thing we also use the most would be this thin
I
line.
love this
So you
one.
mentioned this.
Yeah.
So this is, what do we say? It's a Billy Gibbons stacked single coil.
Yep.
And then, he did say it and I don't remember, so I'll get it off and we'll superimpose it on the screen. But this, he spends it's probably like 30-35% of the gig on the pink, 30-35% on this, and then swapping between his other Strat and his Gretsch for most of the songs. So
Nice. But yeah, that's a nice. I instantly saw the neck actually, and that's kind of a nice bit of chunk on the
Yes.
back there to grab onto.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not sure what profile that is.
it's not
but
too baseball-y though. It's kind of like,
No.
it's almost a D-ish kind of thing, like
Yeah.
a chunky-ish D. Which is kind of, it's very playable in that
Yeah.
regard. You don't have to really fight it.
Yep.
And it doesn't have so we've got like a 6 saddle bridge, which
Yeah.
is a must if you're playing a telly in a kind of rock band.
So you're not a fan of the little T-bars, the three.
I'm not
saddle.
really a purist.
Not a purist?
Personally. So it's kind of all about reliability.
Yeah.
In this instance, it's about what's going to work, what's going to stand up to, especially like in and out of trucks, in and out of festival stages, temperature, as we mentioned in Australia.
Yes.
So this is just more reliable. So it gets the gig for that reason.
100%. Very cool guitar. This is the first guitar I remember seeing Ben play.
Yeah.
And just remember being like, oh, I've got to go and have a look at that after the game. And then I didn't. But
Yeah.
yes.
It's just, it's that great telly thing, but with the added kind of complexity of having the semi-hollow.
Yeah.
So kind of riding the line of those two things, which sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really sounds
Yeah,
phenomenal.
and the semi-hollow doesn't feed back at all really with this kind of thing, does it? Because
It's just
through-
here
Yeah.
from memory. So
Yeah.
it's to
Nice.
it's good. It's a great guitar.
All right, so we've got the telly. I think that is this another one that was made by or bought by Franco.
They're all kind of come by way of Franco in one way or another.
In one, okay.
Yeah. So Franco's either
Franco's the source.
He's the source. So speaking of, this is one that Franco actually put together, which is Ben's Red
nice.
Strat.
Yeah.
It's that funny thing, like you think of a Strat, you're like, a Strat sounds like this, and then you hear a different Strat, and you're like, it also sounds like this.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the difference between Ben's two Strats. You know, the pink one is kind of that, as you heard, like traditional, it's a bit glassy, but really full on the neck pickup. This is like a little bit spankier, a little bit cleaner again. This is V60s in here, Lolas. So you kind of have that like bit more traditional kind of sound while being, you know, just a nice counterpart to the Strat.
So a little more lower output?
Little lower output, yeah.
And I know it's 5 springs on the back, so he's running heavy strings, I guess. Lots of tension in
Yes.
there. Lots of like keeping it balanced. And knowing the way Ben plays, I can imagine trems. Does he play with the trem?
No, it's all pretty well locked off. Like
Yeah.
we haven't officially blocked it off, but with the 5 springs and
Yeah.
the really low profile on the,
Yeah.
you know, it
Yeah.
keeps it really stable as well, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
We had to add a string tree for the lower strings just because it's the reverse headstock. And
Well, for you and I, it's probably not the reverse headstock,
right.
but I did get confused at first because I was like, wait, that's a reverse headstock on a left-handed...
on a left-handed guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a right-handed headstock, which is confusing to tune.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
what we noticed straight away once Ben started bringing it out was the low E was just jumping out of the nut.
Yeah, of course.
So string tree solved the problem. Don't really feel we need it for the D and G, although I might just do it anyways,
Yep.
just for that little bit of extra stability. But
Yeah.
Ben hits hard, but he's not thrashing guitars, so it's not like he'll go out of tune within a song.
Yep.
There's still a lot of touch and delicacy to what he plays, as well as having the power to kind of cut through with power chords and so on. So
Yeah.
beautiful. It's a beautiful strat.
Yeah, that's a cool strap. Love the color as well.
Yeah.
I like this. Like Franco's just the. We need to do
Franco's the man.
a rig rundown with Franco at some point.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Franco's the man. So yeah, beautiful. Another one, really good one.
Are all of these basically standard tuning as well?
All standard, yeah.
Yep.
All E to E. There was a time where we had the pink Strat was in E flat, but don't need it for this set list. So
Nice.
if it comes around, it'll come around again, the E flat. And then this is the newest kind of member. This is just a very off the shelf, crafted in China Gretsch Electromatic.
Yeah.
The only difference is we've put in some custom Seymour Duncan pickups that Ben actually, they were found in the storage facility.
Yeah.
We can't discern the handwriting on it from the guy who wound them. The Alnico, that's like the only word you can make out. You can't even really read the numbers, but
you know they're Duncans, so
we know they're Duncans, and they're
yeah.
custom Duncans, so they sound really good. You know,
Yeah.
it's sort of TV Jones-ish in that kind of traditional Gretsch, but a little bit more high fidelity, while being old school, which is a contradiction, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, but that kind of clarity, like that Chet Atkins kind of like every
Yeah.
note kind of sings
Yep.
in its own little spot.
With its
right?
own sort of mid-range character, with its own clarity, with its own wooliness. Yeah, that's that funny Gretsch thing, especially with the solid body, is you kind of have this best of all the worlds
Yeah.
sonic thing, which we brought this on just because we needed a little bit of a counterpoint, like an additional counterpoint sonically for what Ben and Danny do together. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah, this is the newest one, and then this is also Power Slink is 10 to 48. Oh no, 11 to 48.
1148.
So,
Yeah.
so.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's a nice guitar. So this is absolutely. And this gets used maybe like what's he sitting on most of the set? Is it still Strat and Telly or?
Still Strat and Telly. It's the pink and the thin line most of the set. This currently is only getting one song, but like last year when we were doing Red Hot Summer Tour, it'd be 3 or 4 songs we'd do on the Gretsch.
Yep.
It's all kind of just vibe based, which I kind of hate to say out loud, but Ben will often just be like, you know what, I'm vibing the Gretsch tonight, I'm just going to do 2 more songs, or do it, I'll let you know when I want the next guitar, basically. So we have a fairly standard path for each songs, but if it's something's really happening, we'll just stick with it.
If it's going, it's going.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
and then we got one more. We got any more in there, or is that the set?
That's the set. I keep a right-handed guitar in here because I'm right-handed, and so it just means it's easy to kind of sound check and line check stuff. And we're currently working on a Les Paul to bring into this Fold 4 this set.
Okay.
It's an Orville Japanese thing that I've just pulled. All the wiring was not very good, and it wasn't making sound in the right spots, and up was down and bridge was neck. So working on that. To be determined. Yeah. So hopefully it's up tonight.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Nice. All right. Well, I guess we've been through all the guitars, all the amps. Now, one thing, we've got a bit of a tradition. I should have asked Ben this. I might ask him another time. But do you have a bit of a hot take when it comes to guitarists? Now, you've been around a lot of guitarists, you know, like...
Yeah. Having worked in a music store, there's you can get a certain jadedness, from the kind of people that you have coming into the store and the kind of thing they're chasing. I think a lot of people have this hot take though, so maybe it's not that hot, but it's just like if you have a sound, you'll find it no matter what.
Yeah.
So you don't need so-and-so's clone, you don't need this pedal or this guitar. It's just like, you can make it work and it will sound really good if you have the intent to make it work and sound really good.
Yeah.
It's not really that hot.
No, but having said that, would you say there's good guitars and bad guitars?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would. Yeah. I mean,
because you can make it work with a bad guitar, but
if you don't need to, you shouldn't have to.
No.
Like people always say that Eric Clapton will sound like Eric Clapton on anything, and it's true.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean everyone should play a $300 guitar.
Yeah.
There's a certain comfort and a certain kind of there's a tangibility about if we're talking like price range or even build quality. Just because you can play a G chord on a $300 guitar doesn't mean it's going to give you the same response and the same reaction as a $3,000 guitar.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. I get it. Yeah. No. Thanks for
Yeah.
Yeah. No, your hot take. It's yeah. So yeah, you can make it work with anything.
Make it work with.
As Zeke says. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. It's I would fear for taking out a really expensive anything on the road as well.
Well, that's the other side of it, like we're often, and especially when we do fly gigs, it's like you put a bunch of guitars into a case and put it onto a plane and you don't know what's going to happen on the other side. That's, Ben, after so long, is still playing, fairly inexpensive guitars just because they're reliable and easy to maintain and fix.
That's it.
So,
yeah, keep the nice ones in the studio and
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's the
take
place
out
for them.
the players.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
All right, Zeke. Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you,
Have a great show tonight, mate.
Thank you, I will. And I'll see you there.
Yeah.
And I look forward to that.
Yes. All right, guys. Leave a comment if you got any questions for Ben or Zeke, and we can try and answer them, retrospectively. But yeah, we'll see you on the next edition of Rob's Rigs.